Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver just released their statistics, so let's talk about the Vancouver real estate market in September of 2024. First, let's talk about the sales, and the sales are slower than usual. They're in fact 26% below the 10-year seasonal average, and they're about 17.1% below the sales that we saw in August 2023. So the market is still very slow, nothing new to report here. Now, if you remember the statistics from the last few months, the most concerning part other than the lack of sales was the fact that we started to see a lot of new inventory come to the market. And a lot of this inventory wasn't selling, so we had a bit of a pile-on effect. The listings were staying on the market for longer, and the total number of inventory kept on increasing. So first, let's look at the total number of new listings listed in August 2024. It represented about a 4.2% increase comparing to what we saw of August 2023. So not a huge jump, which is very good. Also comparing to the 10-year seasonal average, we're actually about 1.7% below what that number usually is for August. So that is actually pretty good news. And if you look at the total number of inventory, so not just the new listings that were listed last month, but sort of all the listings that are currently available on the market, we saw a total number of 13,812 listings, which is about a 37% increase comparing to last year. So still the inventory left over from last month and the month before is staying on the market. That's why this number is higher. This number is also about 20.8% above the 10-year seasonal average. So even though the number of new listings listed in August was about 1.7% below the 10-year seasonal average, the total number of listings is still almost 21% above the 10-year seasonal average. And that's because a lot of the listings are still there from May, June, and July. I also want to look at this number in context, the 13,812 listings that are currently being for sale listed in Greater Vancouver. And I want to compare it to what we saw last month in July 2024. That number was actually higher. That number was 14,326 listings. That number was also higher in June. We saw 14,182 listings. So as you can see, the total volume of listings is slowly coming down, partly because some of it is getting sold, and partly people are taking their listings off of the market for the months of August. That is a very usual practice because a lot of people go on vacations, kids are about to go back to school, and usually August is a slower month in real estate. So if you don't have a very active listing, it's better to take it off the market and relist it in the fall or maybe even spring. Then you're gonna get the most activity and probably the highest dollar. Speaking of the dollar volume, let's actually look at the prices. And not surprisingly, there isn't too much change. So by the property type, for detached homes, the prices have increased by about 1.8% from August 2023 to August 2024, and they also have decreased about 0.1% from July 2024 to July 2023, or in that 1 month period. As far as the apartment prices, we saw about a 0.1% decrease in the last year, which is sort of rare in Vancouver. And also the prices have not changed at all comparing to July 2024 to August 2024. And finally, for the attached homes, the prices have actually increased by 0.8% in the last year, and they also have gone down by about 0.5% in the last month. These statistics are very interesting because usually prices in Vancouver, especially for condos, tend to go up. At least they keep up with the inflation. So we're starting to see a little bit of cracks forming here due to several factors. Number one, slower than usual market conditions, obviously. Second factor, of course, having the higher interest rates. And in fact, the Bank of Canada just today announced that they will be reducing the interest rates by another 0.25% or 25 basis points. So now the overnight lending rate is 4.25%, and it's expected that the interest rates will come down even more in the fall. That of course will stimulate the market, but right now the interest rates are still higher, and of course we're looking at statistics for the previous month that still had higher interest rates. So it will be interesting to see how the new interest rates affect the market, and of course I'll keep you updated on this YouTube channel. So the higher interest rates also play a large effect on the prices and on the overall market activity. Lastly, the rents in Vancouver have actually decreased, which is sort of rare. It's a combination of a few different things. Number one, the investors are sort of pulling out of the market. Number two, more rentals are being built. And number three, the lack of international students. The cap of international students in Canada is playing a pretty big effect. I see a lot of property management companies are kind of complaining about the fact that they don't get enough applications for their rentals. In fact, if we look at rent.live, which is a website that tracks real estate trends in Metro Vancouver, we can see that for the last 2 months, July and August, the rents for 2024 were actually below the rents that we've seen in July and August of 2023. It doesn't mean that Vancouver is special. In fact, majority of Canadian cities have seen some sort of rent price decrease. If we look at a different website that provides statistics about the rental market called rentals.ca, you can see that Vancouver and Burnaby are still the two most expensive cities in Canada to rent, even with these sort of price decreases. So it is still a very unaffordable market in a way, but the prices have come down, which in turn sort of drove away a lot of investors from the market, which in turn slowed down the market and had the prices slightly go down, especially if you compare it to inflation. Lastly, let's look at one of my favorite statistics to examine, the sales to active listings ratio. This statistic basically tells us how many out of 100 listings being listed actually get sold. So for the detached houses, that number is actually pretty low, 9.6%. I haven't seen this number this low in a very long time, below 10%. So that's kind of interesting, even though the prices haven't really come down for detached homes. The sales to active listings ratio definitely has. And for the attached properties, the sales to active listings ratio number is about 18%. And for apartments, it's about 17.2%, which doesn't sound that bad. But you have to remember that usually in Vancouver, this number is around 26, 27, sometimes even 30% in a very active market. So having it at about 17.2% is quite low, which is pretty good news for the buyers out there. It seems like if you're looking for a townhome or a detached house or even a condo, you're still in a pretty good market condition to be able to purchase. Now, a lot of people accuse me trying to hype up the market. I'm not hyping it up. I'm just stating the facts. You should be buying when the market is slower if you are interested in buying and if you have the means to do so. And if you need any real estate advice, feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email, shoot me a text message, whatever works best for you. I'll be happy to help. Also, I have an absolutely free buyer's guide linked in the description below. It's just a tool to help you understand how the buying process works. If you're a first-time home buyer or just haven't bought in a while, you don't need to sign up for anything. It's absolutely free, so check it out. It will be in the description of this video. Thanks for watching this video update. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss more videos like this when they do come out in the future. And I'll see you next time.